a real privilege to be able to tell my story. I'm not going to start out with the way I have in the past. I'm going to start out right at the beginning. Why I received the Purple Heart. We were on our 4th mission. It was a double pay mission. So I got the air medal. But anyway, we were flying over Austria. And as we approached the target, I looked ahead and I couldn't see just a big black cloud of smoke up there. And as time went on, pretty soon I looked up and I could see all those airplanes up there. And our plane was going like this. And I knew where that black cloud of smoke was. And we had just, within a few seconds, 2 holes appeared in the instrument panel. One hit me in the leg, and one that took the film right off my hand. I mean, it took it right off. Just hanging by the skin. Cleaned it off good. And I knew it had been hit pretty hard. But I was staying in my seat until the bombs were away. And my radio operator was standing behind me. He put a compress on my hand, tried to get me out of the seat, and I said, no. I'm not getting out. I'm going to stay here, put my communications oxygen back on. He said, what's your, you're bleeding? And I said, that's all right. I'm staying here till the bombs are away. So he hooked me back up to the communications and oxygen. And he had just barely had done that when the right outboard engine started galloping and making odd noises. So I reached over and hit the pilot hand so I could cut the power on that engine. And he would look at me like that. And didn't move his hand. And I touched him, I had his hand up and I touched him again. He looked over me like that. So finally I whacked him with this hand. And he moved his hand so I could cut the power on number 4 engine. And we increased the power in the other 3 engines. So we were flying, by the way. He talked about Major Poff. Major Poff was my squadron commander. We were flying group lead that day. Major Poff was the lead, and we were on his right wing. If he had gone down, we would be flying and leading the whole group. But as it was, as we approached closer to the target, number 2 engine on the left side started running away. Put us down to 2 engines, so I increased the power on both remaining engines. George, do you remember how long there was a limit on how long the engine could run on full power? It seemed like a very short time. Did anybody?
5 minutes.
It was 5, yeah, just 5 or 10 minutes. Anyway, the power was up at 2 engines at full power. We were 20,000 feet over Austria, and we couldn't keep up with the group. The group was going way up there. I saw them leave. And one miracle, the pilot flew on 2 engines for 3 hours from Austria to Foggia, Italy. He came in. He was losing altitude all the way to keep the engines from burning up. And landed straight in on a British airport in Foggia. Miracle number 2. Right across way, a little ways, was an Army hospital, station hospital. So they called the ambulance from the hospital. They took me out, took me over to the hospital. I want to let you know, as an intern, I'm from Utah. says, what's in the words? When I got hit to the flag, I said a quick prayer. Father, please help me. I immediately Ken answered, don't worry, Stillman. Everything will be all right. I never had a worry. I didn't have any pain. I had to watch, the first aid people were doing in my crew. They wanted to give me a shot of morphine every half hour. I said, oops, no, you gotta kill me. And as we got to the first aid people to take me out, they brought their big steel cage in right around my leg and around my body to immobilize. When they started putting it on me, I said, you can't get me out with this on. Oh yeah, we can get you out. Okay. So they got it all on, wrapped up tight and snug, and said, we can't get you out with this on. And he says, that's what I told you. Well, what are we going to do? I said, well, Tucker, take that off. And then I didn't know what we were going to do. I said, well, from the cockpit there's a space about this wide, and it drops down to the flight deck, to the lower deck, and it's about 4 feet long. I said, get a stretcher, collapse it, put it under there, one of you on each end to keep it in place, and roll me onto it. Oh, we can't do that. Might start you bleeding again. I think about that time I didn't have much blood left. So anyway, they put me on the stretcher and rolled it onto it, and put me in the ambulance. And that's the last I remember. For some hours, I don't know how long. But a little later, I heard the nurses talking. And I heard one nurse working with my lines, and she said to the other nurse, this is number 9 for him. 9 units or whatever. Must have been low. And the other nurse said, yeah, he shouldn't even be here. She says, the doctor said, miracle number 3, the artery had to move over 3 inches to keep from being severed.